It started last year, June 2023. There was a news reporter by the name of Randy Travis, and he was called by some of the board members for the state of Georgia who handles all the licensing, and he worked for Fox 5 investigation. So he knows these guys, right? And once he saw me, he started digging into, I guess, the Georgia Board of Private Detective Securities and whatnot. And he realized that I was licensed, who I was licensed under. I was a PI, and they did not understand what I created.
Wait, let's slow down. Randy Travis, you're saying, was hired by the board for the state of Georgia, the board that regulates the licenses for security companies in Georgia.
Yeah. I never got to explain, because when Randy Travis did that interview with me, he bombarded me. He goes, so where you think about opening next? I said, California. As soon as that light went on, so we hear you're operating illegally. I looked at him, I wanted to punch him in his face. Then, it went on for about 2 months. Randy Travis went on his Twitter and tweeted about me for 2 months straight, every single day. Even my lawyer looked it up. He was like, this guy has something against you. Because I've never seen a news reporter tweet about one dude every day. We went from having rides to no rides for like 3 months. And I said, I want to quit. I got to give up. Then next you know, we get a call from the governor's office. And I'm like, yes. They were like, we heard that you were operating illegally. I said, where? In Chicago. I said, ma'am, we haven't even opened Chicago. We've been waiting on the application to come back. Oh, okay, because I was going to send you a cease and desist. I'm like, well, why would you send me a cease and desist and I'm not there? Well, we heard. What do you mean you heard? From who? They said somebody called the governor's office and told the governor that about you and this and that. So I was like, I wonder who that was.
Hey guys, my name is Nikki Renfro. I'm a recently retired state trooper, and I decided to start a podcast, Safe Nation Podcast. We're covering safety, security, and law enforcement. So tell me about yourself, Kerry KingBrown. Is that a made up name? What's up with this name, KingBrown?
Why everybody always asks me that?
Okay, King.
So
it's KingBrown. Right. Tell me where you got that from.
KingBrown. All right. My mom's maiden last name is King.
Okay.
My father's last name is Brown. Right.
Okay.
And how it happened when I was born, my father, he's Jamaican, right? Mm-hmm. And he runs into the hospital. He goes, no. Put my name on the birth certificate. and then the doctor's like, okay. So that's how it became KingBrown. So it's actually one word.
Okay.
It's not separated.
Okay.
My mom's from Barbados. My father's from Jamaica. So I'm full Caribbean. A true Caribbean. I speak Patois more than Bajan, because it was easy for me. Bajans, they sing too much. I'm a grown man that lift weights. I can't be singing. No, so I had to choose the tougher side. So I chose Patois, which is Jamaican. Originally born in New York.
Okay. Long
Island. I left there when I was 9 years old, moved to Georgia, grew up in Loganville, Georgia, Gwinnett County. Went to South Gwinnett High School, but I graduated in Broward County Piper High School. So then from there, got recruited to the University of Miami to play football.
Okay.
Came out, declared for the draft, went to the Buccaneers. Tried and did my best with the Buccaneers, got cut. Oh well, still made it. But yeah. So that's kind of the background. And I got into security when I was 15 years old, and that's how security started for me when I was 15.
What'd you do at 15?
15, I was just doing house parties, right? And then I was working with another guy.
Wait, you were the dude at the door taking the money?
I was at the door. Just swole, you know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? And then from there, I met another guy, and he started putting me around professionals. I was young, but I was doing things where I didn't have to have a license, right? In the state of Georgia, to do unarmed, you don't need a license, right?
Okay.
So he had me at the door, and I fell in love with it. When I was at the University of Miami, they were like, bro, if you don't play football, you're going to do private security. So that's who I am. That's my backstory.
Okay. Look, I appreciate you.
Trust me, I'm excited.
You excited?
Man, what? There's a lot of things, that need to be said, that need to be put out, so people can kind of really understand who I really am and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
BlackWolf. That's part of who you are. What's BlackWolf?
It's many different things. I mean, it's my moniker. It's who I am. It's what I represent. When I was, doing some training for a private military company, I was moving, and the guy was like, "Man, you move like a black wolf," and I was like, I said, "Man, you being racist?" He was like, "Nah." So he told me to go look up the black wolf, and I looked it up, and I fell in love with it. I mean, they're rare. They're the strongest wolf, the biggest, the smartest, and they walk alone. They don't run in packs. They're the ones that are behind the pack, watching everybody else. So it just stuck with me, and I wanted something corporate, but still fit me.
Right.
Still can attract people when I say it. So it always stuck with me. I'm just becoming the Black Wolf now.
Okay, and you attached that name to your company.
Yep.
I stumbled across your company just by scrolling through on one of the social media pages, and I found a promo video you were doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I watched it again because I was like, I haven't seen this company.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen, why am I not familiar with this? But it felt like kind of like Uber, but with armed drivers. That's kind of what it felt like. How would you describe your company?
It's funny. Everybody says that. Like every news station, they was like Uber, but with arm or guns and bodyguards. I'm just like, cool. I guess that's the perception I gave people. But the reality of the BlackWolf app is this. I wanted to create something where if I can take what I've learned, or take a officer, or EMT, a firefighter, veterans, and transform them into a driver, giving them an extra income in the same format where we take a mother making $50,000 a year, right? And she goes, okay, I have a daughter. I need somebody to take my daughter to the mall or to school or somewhere that she can't take her daughter. I'd rather somebody with the state license or the training or the background to be able to give that mother, just ease. The mother knows, okay, my daughter's protected because of the driver. Now, it's in the form of a ride share, but I wanted to give the same opportunities that these rappers and these actors and these people who have the money, the same opportunity that they can get, that they can afford. Why not give it to the people who necessarily can't afford it from the eyes of them? So that's really the vision and the goal. There's a lot more, but I'm just answering that simple question. The foundation of it is a whole different beast as to why I even started it.
Why did you start it?
Well, all right, so let's go back.
Do it.
Let's go back. I started it because I was with a young lady. She was human trafficked for 3 years, and when I met her, it was probably maybe a year after she had got out. She had got rescued. She ended up having a child, and when I got with her, my only job was to transport her to work. This woman didn't talk to me for 2.5 years. Can you imagine driving with somebody who never looked at you, never talked to you, never said thank you, didn't want you to touch them? And I was so confused.
She got in the car with you
every day
and didn't talk, did not speak.
Nope, not at all.
And you knew what her situation was before she started.
So that was my first time like really seeing things like that, like being that close.
How did you get to that point though? How did she even get in your car?
So she ended up meeting somebody outside. Once she got rescued, she started meeting people that was around my circle. And they knew who I was and what I like to do. They knew that I was a people's person. Even though the outside demeanor, I look mean, right? That's what they say. And they said, listen, KB, you're good at what you do. We have a client for you. I had transitioned into the EP world. And they said, we have a client for you. I said, okay, cool. They never told me the realness of it. And the first time I saw her, I opened the door. I said, how you doing, ma'am? She looked at me. She got in the car. I closed the door. I said, this is mean as hell. But I didn't know. So I went back to my guys. It's like, dude, she was called in, da-da-da. And I'm like, oh. And they said, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a while. It took 2.5 years. And how the BlackWolf app was born, I think about a month before that contract ended, she looked at me. She goes, I know how long it's been. I haven't talked to you. She goes, but let me tell you something. You have made me feel so comfortable from my situation, what I went through. She goes, I want you to create something for people like me and my daughter. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm listening to her. I'm like, yes, ma'am. She was like, promise me you will. And at this point, I'm like, I wasn't thinking about any app. I was thinking about transportation. I love doing close protection. That's what I love doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, I promise you, I'll do it. And I did it, you know, and I haven't seen her, haven't talked to her because obviously, you know, going through that, they don't have regular phones or whatnot. But that's the foundation. The foundation is human trafficking. That's why this came about. It's not about ride sharing. It's not about me trying to be famous. It's none of that. It's literally about somebody was in my vehicle that was human trafficked for years and said, this is your purpose. When she told me that, I'm just like, whatever, you're crazy. But like, again, you know, I'm here now and I'm still striving to show people the difference.
So how has this been for you? You started this business when?
May of 2023.
May of 2023. So it's fairly new.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
And okay, and in trying to raise this baby, what have you encountered so far?
Let's go back. Let me tell you how it happened. Let me tell you why the BlackWolf App even is known today. I'm gonna tell you exactly how it happened. Me and my video guy, we were coming up with ideas. I said, all right, how am I going to promote this? He goes, let's make some videos. He goes, you need to create a TikTok. I said, I'm not creating no TikTok because I don't like social media. I'm not a posting guy. And I called one of my guys. He owns a company called Dreams Exotics. And I said, hey, I need your Rolls Royce and I need your Benz. He goes, KB, you can have any car you want. Went down there and I had a blue suit on with a black tie. And I had the Rolls Royce. We did 12 videos before we did that one viral video. And we just kept coming up with ideas. He looks at me. He goes, bro, we're going to go viral. I said, what are you talking about? I said, how do you go viral? He goes, I'm just telling you, something's going to happen. We're going to go viral. And I said, okay, cool. I get the Rolls Royce. I park it. And I looked at him. I was like, hey, you know them videos, them guys will walk around in cars like, hey, man, what do you do for a living? And he was like, yeah, I do. He goes, let's do that. And I said, okay, cool. Mind you, all these videos are not scripted. Every time I do a video, it's up here. I think how customers think. I think how everybody else thinks and what they want to see. I kid you not, it took me 3 times. I walked around the car. He goes, hey, man, so what do you do for a living? As I'm getting into the Rolls Royce. He goes, I said, you ever heard of the BlackWolf App? He goes, no, what is that? I said, you got Uber and you got Lyft. Now you have the BlackWolf App. The only difference is we only hire military veterans, law enforcement officers, those in the private sector, and we're armed. And not thinking about it, we finished that video. Man, we did 3 more after that. I thought that one was I wanted to do another one. He said, nah, that one's going to be it. That night, we went and opened up the TikTok. Never had a TikTok. And 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, this man called me. Bro, we went viral. I looked at it. It was 1 million. I said, all right, cool. Again, I didn't know what viral meant. 9 o'clock, 7 million. 12 o'clock, almost 12 million. I'm like, what the hell's going on? First news station was Atlanta First News. I think that's what they're called. And they reached out. They said, we want to do a story on you. Okay, cool. I ain't have no suits. All my suits are old. And they said that we want to do something now. I'm like, okay, all right. So we get down there and we meet with her. And they were like, so what is this? What did you create? I don't know. Here's the thing. When it went viral, everybody thought we were everywhere. I didn't have a car. I didn't have no SUV. I didn't have nothing. It just went viral. I was nervous. Like I said, I didn't have a suit. I mean, I grabbed one of them, my older suit that I had.
You were dusty.
Man, what? Dusty's not even...
Did you put lotion on your ankles?
Man, let me tell you
That's
something.
all I'm asking.
Crisco, grease, everything, man. And then I put an iron to the suit.
Okay. That helps.
I'm Jamaican, so we don't care about none of that. But, that's things started to change. And I'm like, okay, what is the news going to ask me? So when we got down there, I had a rental truck, a rental SUV. And I'm going to get into how I even got to that. And they were so amazed. They're like, "What is this?" And like, they were confused. It's like, "Is it security? You know, like is it a ride share? Is like, what are we doing?" And I broke it down to them. They were like, "That is smart."
Because that's what I want to know. What is it?
Yeah, they were like, "That is smart," and I did it like that on purpose, right? So I knew for a fact that they were going to be attracted to the arm part. It's never been done. The thing I always tell people, I didn't create anything new. Understand something. You have private security companies with private drivers. That's not new. Only thing I did was I just said, you know what? I'm going to put it into the ride sharing platform. Anyway, so, Atlanta First News, they did that. It was a great success. When they dropped, every news station in the country was calling me. I'm talking about, we got thousands of emails, thousands of drivers. Our first week, we went viral. We had maybe 1,000 ride requests. We could not fulfill any of that. New York, Texas, Florida. Again,
You couldn't fulfill it.
I didn't have a car.
So what'd you do?
Hell, we wasn't even out there yet. It just went viral, and the app was, it was in on the App Store. But people thought we were everywhere, so they were trying to book rides, canceling them. They're like, "Oh man, you're not here yet." But it was cool to see how a thought turned into reality.
Right.
And it blew my mind, right? So let's go back. So when it went viral, how I got the car, I called my brother. I said, "Hey man, this thing went viral." He goes, "I told you." I was in Jim Ellis, and I was telling them the idea. I want to do a video. And the financial manager was a good friend of mine, Ned. He was like, "KB, you don't even have a car. Like, what are you going to do?" I said, "Negro, it don't matter. Okay, I'm going to make it happen." At the time, I feel like Denzel. I said, "Negro, I'm going to make it happen."
You got to fake it till you
right.
make it.
And they were so nice. They said, "We're going to let you rent one." They said, "Have it for the week." It's my first client, and it was a couple. They were going to a hotel downtown, had to do some party. And that's where the hustle began. I didn't have a vehicle. I didn't have drivers. I was the only driver. I was learning because it just went viral. I didn't officially open. It just went viral. And me and my brother, we sat down. I said, "All right, what are we going to call this thing?" I said, "All right, it's the BlackWolf App." He said, "Yeah, but you have to have a corporation, this and that." And he literally sat me down and started teaching me how to structure a business. And from that moment, he kept telling me, he goes, "You're going to be bigger than what you really are." And I mean, to this day, he's right, because like everything changed. So that is the beginning of like my ventures. Not having a vehicle, going to Jim Ellis and asking them, "Hey, I need to borrow something," and they were like, "KB, we got you." Thank God. And then it started to keep going, and then I got my first driver. One of my good friends. He came on board to help me. He's like, "Man, this is cool. This is great."
So what was his background? Was he
Private
military
security.
or private? Okay.
Yep. And he started doing chauffeuring.
Okay.
And he's like, "I'm gonna help you." He's like, "I don't know what the hell it is, but I'm gonna help you." I was like, "All right, cool, man." So, and when people see me picking them up, they're like, "You're the guy on the," I said, "Yeah, I am, and I'm still working." And I think the cool thing about it is that the perception of it is they see me on the video, but they don't understand that I still drive. They don't understand like that's my passion, And I always say like God gave me something that's so cool, because it's like when it does become a millionaire or a $1 billion company, I may still be driving. Uber, Lyft, they will never do that. But this is from the mud.
What kind of clients do you have? Give me an idea. Just from your everyday people to celebrities? Man,
everyday people, moms, dads, firefighters. We have, Fortune 500 CEOs. We work with the guys from Home Depot. They'll call and say, "Hey, we're flying in our private jet. Can you pick us up, bud?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got you." Like Deontay Wilder is like a bigger brother, so I deal with him a lot. We have political members. We have athletes, actors, royal family members, and like these are the people that I've known like personally. And they even the president of Amazon, I met with him in Nobu in Malibu. He was like, "This is crazy."
But what's your background? How did you?
Man.
Were you military or what?
So I contracted with a lot of private military companies. My background is private security, right? Okay. Then after private security, I got into the congressional staffing. The United States Secret Service and private military. I've been overseas a couple times. I've done some work some work,
Okay.
you know, to sharpen my skills. Then I came back home. I worked for Gavin Becker. I left Gavin Becker. The training was, you know, honestly, it's one of the best. When you're talking about private security companies, I mean, they're one of the best. I don't know about now, but that training was extremely well. Then I got into a company called, well, I'm just going to say the initials, BW, right? So can't really say it like that because they were dismantled because of what they did. But going through that, Navy SEALs, let me just say that training is on a whole nother level. That mindset's on a whole nother level. But I did that. The only reason why I did that is because I'm not 6'6", right? I'm not 250 pounds. I'm not the bodyguard that people think about hip hop. I was the guy that was 6 feet, that was 210, 220, in shape, look good, but at the end of the day, I can take care of my business. So I realized that I have to do more to be able to have that persona so people can respect me. Because in the game of security, there's not a lot of respect. It's a dog-eat-dog world. People will turn on you. People will trade on you. People will underbid you. And going back to the app, I realized I have to create my own lane. Like, my thing is security don't have a face. I want it to be the face. Like, I always say, like, everybody said they're the GOAT. Like, no, I'm the wolf. Like, I'm going to be the greatest in that industry because I want to change it. I want people to understand, like, no, we look good in it, and we are good. That's why a lot of people like to hire us. But it was, like I said, it's just a lot of stuff in the security industry that I don't like, that I want to change.
Has with you having your face be the face of the company, has that worked well for you?
Yeah. It has, but it has its cons to it, and we can get into that.
Like what?
A lot of hate
From
the industry, from guys who's been doing it for 30, 40 years.
which side of the industry? Because what I see with your business is there's the tech side because of the app, and then the security side because of who your drivers are. So which side are we talking about? I
mean, it's not so much on the tech side because tech is new. It's a lot on the security side. And, you know, it started last year, June 2023. There was a news reporter by the name of Randy Travis. And he was called by some of the board members for the state of Georgia who handles all the licensing. And he worked for Fox 5 investigation. So he knows these guys, right? And once he saw me, he started digging into, I guess, the Georgia Board of Private Detective Securities and whatnot. And he realized that I was licensed, who I was licensed under. I was a PI, and they did not understand what I created. So what they did was they said, okay, he's operating as an illegal security agency. And they ran with that, right? They looked up my Secretary of State. They saw my DBA, and they said, okay, this is what he's operating under. They didn't do no more research. So they basically said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it like this, and we're going to portray him like this. They went to the guy who I was licensed under. They all know each other. And they pretty much told him, hey, this is what we're going to do. If you don't drop him, we're going to take you to the board, because they know what he does. Right. And I didn't know all these people know each other because they started a Facebook group, and they had all these messages about me and saying that I'm messing up the industry. I'm operating illegally. It would never happen in Florida. I have the agency in Florida. But don't worry about it. We're going to get them. These guys were on Facebook talking about me.
Wait, let's slow down. Randy Travis, you're saying, was hired by the board for the state of Georgia, the board that regulates or the licenses for security companies in Georgia. Yeah. And they hired him, and he began an investigation on you. So
yes. So what happened is you have these 4 members that work for that board, right? They were watching me, and they saw how everything was transpiring, they reached out to Randy Travis and said, hey, look at this guy.
But why you? Why you?
That's a question I want to know.
What happened? I mean,
some can call it jealousy. Some can call it hate.
They just picked you out.
That's just what it was. And that's one thing I started to learn, that when God gives you a purpose, it's going to come a lot of turmoil with it. So when they did that, he obviously went to them, because you have to go to the board to get all that information. Like, you can't just look that up, right? So he went to the board. He saw that I took a test to get the agency, right? So when I was taking this test, I'm like, man, this test is easy, but it's hard, right? They will always twist and turn these answers. And I reached out to another guy. He's a PI. He goes, I know the guy who remade the test, and they're doing it like that for a reason. Because every time you fail it, you got to pay about $125 just to retake it. So it's really about money. Because what happened before, it was so easy to get an agency in Georgia. Extremely easy. They made it hard now. So a lot of people were not getting these agencies because it was extremely hard. So I tried. I said, all right, cool. You know what? Whatever. And because I realized what I created, I didn't need the agency for the first part. But obviously, they reached out to him. They gave him my personal information and said, here. So when he came out with his news story, he exposed me, or tried to expose me. He said, yeah, he tried to do this. He lost his license. And that's how it started. So they were so happy that it happened. The guy who was licensed under, he was like, yeah, man, you're making me look bad, and you're operating illegally. I said, how am I operating illegally when I spoke to you about this a long time ago? I said, remember, you're the one who told me what to do. But then I found out he was a paper mill guy, meaning that he's taking people under his license and not giving them work. So it's funny, in the state of Georgia, you have over 1,000 guards. These guys are working, not necessarily for the company, but they're working. How else are you going to go get a job? If you have a blue card, if you are licensed in the state of Georgia, you have a blue card, that means you can do security work. Most of these companies don't even hire their own people who are licensed under them. So what can you do? I said, okay, what if I created something, a rideshare, that I'm going to hire you, not necessarily to use your license for security, but I can hire you because you have the background. People feel safe because they're knowing that, okay, he's licensed. That was the perception. Not to say, hey, I need to hire you as a bodyguard. Now, even when I was exposing that, those are contractual things. In order to do security, it's a contract, right? So I wanted people to feel safe and understand, hey, these people are licensed through this state. So how am I doing something wrong when I'm going to give you another source of income to drive? So that's what it was. They took it to the point where they said, no, this is what you're doing. I never got to explain, because when Randy Travis did that interview with me, he bombarded me. He goes, so where you think about opening next? I said, California. As soon as that light went on, so we hear you're operating illegally. I looked at him. I wanted to punch him in his face. But I couldn't move. I couldn't back up. I couldn't say, I defended myself, but I couldn't really react how I wanted to react, because I didn't want to do it on camera. I didn't want people like, oh, dang, so he is operating illegally. I didn't want to do that. Then, it went on for about 2 months. Randy Travis went on his Twitter and tweeted about me for 2 months straight, every single day. Even my lawyer looked it up. He's like, this guy has something against you. He goes, I've never seen a news reporter tweet about one dude every day. So we went through his Twitter. He was tweeting about me every single day, like just trying to get it out, trying to get it out, trying to get it out, trying to get it out. He started reaching out to other states, trying to get it out, trying to get it out. And at that point, that was a low point for me, because I'm like, okay, God, why would you give me this great idea, but why am I going through all this? We went from having rides to no rides for like 3 months. And I said, I want to quit. I got to give up. I went and got an SUV, couldn't afford it. I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, I didn't start this to hurt anybody or do anything illegal. I want to help people. But at that moment, I realized that this is going to be a battle. Uber, Lyft, all these other ride shares, they started with investors. You're talking about a black kid from Loganville, Georgia, had an idea that created something with no money, no help, no nothing, just an idea and putting forth all the effort. It's being destroyed on national news, and I'm just like, it hurt, but at the end of the day, it's like, I had no choice. And another thing is, once I got into this world, I realized that, we talked before, like, nobody would hire me anymore. And I still don't understand that. I'm like, my resume is impeccable, but that's even a whole nother story. But to answer your question,
what's your status right now with at least with the state of Georgia, what's your status?
I mean, I'm in the clear. Like, they just renewed my license as far as my ride sharing. I'm going through the reinstatement process right now for my guard card because I hold 8 other state licenses in security and an agency. So when that happened, I'm like, hell, I don't even need the state of Georgia. I'm not doing security. Now, if I am doing security, if I'm promoting a security agency, I have to go get an agency, or I can partner with one. I have 2 partners right now in the state of Georgia with their own agency, so I can partner with them. That's not illegal. So I thought about it way before it happened, but when it happened, it made me shift. It made me think that, wait a minute, am I doing something wrong? And I was like, wait a minute, no, because if I did something wrong, the state would have told me you cannot operate as a ride-sharing company. The state would have to do that, not the Georgia Private Security Board. They can't shut me down. Those are 2 different things.
So you're good as a rideshare company.
Yes.
And then the piece about the security portion of it, that's the part. That's where the issue is
because never seen
they're
anything
armed
like it.
and they've never seen
anything like it.
Okay.
Because it's like this. You can go open up a rideshare company right now, right, and hire guys with their CCW, right? And they can drive around armed because they want to feel protected. That's their right, right? Now, if you put in your policies you cannot be armed, then that's a whole different ball game, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like people got so stuck on the armed part that they thought, hey, you're in a gray area. I'm really not in a gray area. I understand why people are confused. It's like, okay, you can choose armed, you can choose unarmed. Okay, which one do I want? Understand something. If you are armed, you have your CCW, you have your state license, you have all that. You're not doing security work. I know a couple drivers in New Orleans that work for Uber. They're armed. Hell, they be wearing vests because it's New Orleans, right? But I know for a fact, I think in the company policies of Uber, they're saying that they don't allow guns in their vehicle. But what happens when a person gets in and kills these Uber drivers? Or what happens when all these Uber drivers are now killing all these people? So it's like one of those gray areas that people want to put me in. And again, maybe I have created a gray area. But from my perspective, it's not about that. It's about hiring vetted drivers with backgrounds that can pass through the state. Now, if the state qualifies you, and I have a rideshare company, what am I doing wrong? I literally want you to be a driver because you have the state credentials. Mm-hmm. Now, once we get funding and we're making the other side of the security now that goes through the app, and that's a whole different ball game. That's where the security is going to come into place.
Okay, so explain your app. What are the, if I'm the consumer,
Yeah.
if I'm looking for a ride, what are my options?
So basically, right now you have armed and premium. Not in every state. So armed just means a driver who is armed, obviously. They're vetted. They're fully vetted. They have the license. Either they're military, law enforcement, or those who've been in the private sector. And that's more of a upscale ride, right? That's more of the VIP type, where you have that certain type of vehicle, that driver, he's armed, and you feel good.
Are they armed just for show and just for feel good, or will they actually, what are they going to do that's different for me?
So when it comes to will they do something, it's either like life or death type of situation, right? So all of our drivers are trained in de-escalation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're going to get out of any type of situation, right? But that's the key about it. It's okay if you do have an armed driver and something does happen, the first thing that's going to kick in is the de-escalation part to get that client out of any type of situation. Because again, I'll give an example, and this is just me speaking freely. If a driver is driving and a client's in the car, let's say it's a CEO or whatever company, and somebody attacks that driver, the client, that driver's going to get out and protect the client because you're inside his vehicle. That becomes your client, right? Not saying that the gun is going to be used, but I want people to understand that if something does happen like that, I want that driver to be informed and trained to protect that driver because, again, we're responsible at that point, right? That's why we have the insurance. That's really what it is. It's not to say, the driver's going to come out and start shooting up the place. No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is.
Do they carry any other, less lethal?
Yeah, we have pepper spray. We have some drivers, we have a female, that's what she carries. She carries pepper spray. And we have some that have tasers. We have a firefighter, he carries tasers, because he says, I'd rather just be a premium driver, right? Okay, cool. So you kind of have a choice, right? We have some guys who are military who inside their vehicle, you go into their trunk They have MCKs. They'll have a AR-15, but they're like, it's suited and booted. It's nice. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the world that they come from. I want them to still feel comfortable, right? And I still want the rider to feel comfortable. So that's why I kind of broke it down to, is like, yes, that piece went viral, and that's all they care about is the arm. It's like, no, what you should care about is that driver. Who that driver is. That driver is vetted. Mm-hmm. That driver is treating you like family, right? So that's what I kind of wanted to, not kind of wanted to, but I'm pushing now. But the piece of the arm is just, it's always going to be out there, and that's what made us different.
So you have armed and unarmed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And how do you vet the armed? So
both drivers are vetted the same way, because again, they're the same type of driver. One just, it's not carrying. That's the only difference, right? So the first step is they got to fill out the application. So we kind of go through what type of vehicle they have. Before you can even get into the onboarding process, we got to figure out what type of vehicle you have. Do you have any felonies? How many years of training do you have? De-escalation. Is your license current? Do you have any points in your MVR? So we go through all of that. Okay, they say, no, cool. Then once you start going through the onboarding, we have a CRM system. So that CRM system can take your license, it can take your guard card, or whatever, what state you're in. It can take all your MVRs and run it through a process to make sure you are current and up to date, right? Then we want to ask, do you have any, did you graduate from an academy? Like, we want to know your history, your background. So once we receive all that, it goes to the CRM system. And once it goes to the CRM system, then you do an orientation. So we see you face to face, and we go over everything. We have a system where you watch videos explaining how the company works, the procedures, the payroll, this and that. Because when I was going through Gavin and Becker, they put you through all that. They put you through a test. You got to go through an O course. You've been through that as well, So they kind of want to see what you really got before we put you on the road. We want to see what you got. I wanted to do that because I want them, the client, to know that these guys are going through a rigorous process. Like, we're not just going to give you got a license? Yeah. You got insurance? Yeah. Are you a driver? Nope, because you never know who you're going to pick up. Some of these drivers one day may pick up their next client, right? I want these drivers to understand that one day you may pick up somebody that's going to be paying you $200,000 a year. I want to create a platform where these drivers, they feel good. These guys who are leaving the military, they're like, I'm going to come home. I want to work for BlackWolf, because I know for a fact I'm going to be using my skills again. I'm going to make people smile. Veterans are so huge for us. So that's it. I want to create something where the rider's happy, the driver's happy, the community's happy. But it's hard, because like I said, there are kinks I got to work out. There are things that I'm still learning. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but at the end of the day, that's the goal.
Is it difficult for you to get law enforcement officers?
No.
It's not.
We got 3 FBI guys working for us. It's not like...
I mean, ones that are currently in law enforcement.
No. A lot of them reach out. A lot of them are saying, hey, I'm going to be retiring in such and such. A lot of them reach out. A lot. Like, that's...
I was just wondering how it competes, whatever they make, whatever their salary is going to be, how it competes with what they can make doing an extra job.
Exactly. And of course they can make more doing an extra job because it's there. Ride sharing, it's whenever it comes in, we got to do it. And like, again, we're only a year. We're still building our clientele, and one day it will be to the point where that's all they're going to be doing. That's all they're going to be doing. So again, to answer that question, it's like, we're still new. We after a year, we really started picking up, especially in Florida. Georgia's been picking up. We got Nashville, we got Arizona, and we're pushing Texas now. So by the time this drops, Texas is going to be open,
Okay.
And we're ready in the recruiting phase for Texas right now.
Any kickback from those other states, similar issues?
Whew. Chicago.
Chi-town.
Man, listen to me. We went after Chicago, and we did an application. And when we did the application, they never responded. We're like, what's going on? Like, they said, oh, you have to do it this way. They made us do it again. Then they kicked back and said, oh, we have a new application. All right, cool. Did it again. Then next you know, we got a call from the governor's office. And I'm like, yes. They were like, we heard that you were operating illegally. I said, where? In Chicago. I said, ma'am, we haven't even opened Chicago. We've been waiting on the application to come back. oh, okay, because I was going to send you a cease and desist. I'm like, well, why would you send me a cease and desist and I'm not there? Well, we heard. What do you mean you heard? From who? They said somebody called the governor's office and told the governor that about you and this and that. So I was like, I wonder who that was. News reporters were coming out of the woodworks, asking me all type of crazy questions. Like, yeah, so are you in Chicago yet? No. But we heard you opening. We ain't open yet. They were making, news reports about, BlackWolf is there in Chicago. We have a lot of support. Like, so many businessmen in Chicago was like, man, we need you up here. Please come up here. So here's how it got harder for us. So the governor, that office, made us wait a month and a half before they ever gave us an answer. They just strung us along. Every meeting we were trying to set up with them, we're going to push it back. They did it on purpose, right? And we found out who made that phone call to Chicago.
Please don't keep me in suspense. Who made it?
You already know who made it.
I don't know.
Randy and them boys. The good old boy systems, what we call it. And they were telling them not to open the doors for me. And so when that happened, again, I went through a stage where my mentor was like, okay, God, all right, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm putting my all into this. Like, how do you create something and that's the only money you're making and you're not making any money? And Chicago strung me. And they emailed me. The government office emailed me and said, go ahead and just finish the application. We're tied up right now. I'm like, wow. Do you know when these people finally approved me to do the application, they approved me all the paperwork, they ended up saying, oh yeah, it's going to cost $10,000. I said, they didn't even say that right there. Well, yeah, it's $10,000 to open up the city of Chicago. Strung me along for, like I said, 2.5 months. Now they said now it's $10,000. They made me do all these things. Now it's $10,000. I never opened Chicago. We're probably gonna go back to Chicago when we get funding. Mm-hmm. Same thing, Arizona, they strung me out. We had 6 drivers. We were just waiting on them. We did a Secretary of State. They said, you need that. They emailed me. I can show you the email. They said, as soon as you get cleared from the Secretary of State, we'll open you in 24 hours. And I got cleared from the Secretary of State, gave it to them. I got an email. The lieutenant of the Department of Transportation has to review this. They made me wait a month and a half. I lost all my drivers. Then when they finally said, all right, you can open, I had to pay, had to recruit all new drivers. That took another month. And it was the same thing. They said, oh, well, you can only open premium here. You can't open armed. I'm like, well, why not? They said, because here you got to have a security agency. I said, sir, we're not doing security. I said, how is it that I have law enforcement officers, people with private security experience and state license that you guys license, but they can't drive for me? They were like, we need an agency. I said, you need an agency if you're doing security, correct? They said, yeah. And I said, in order to do security, that's a contractual agreement between the agency and the client, right? Correct. I said, I own a ride share. Well, we've never seen anything like that before. We feel like you should. Got it. That's what it was. So it's new. Nobody, like when Uber first came out, nobody knew what that was. San Francisco damn near kicked them out. Mm-hmm. So, and I've spoken to guys from Uber. They were like, man, you're gonna go through a lot, but you're gonna make it. So I went through it with 2 states, and I just been learning, and it's hard.
Which states then are you allowed to do armed?
So we're allowed to do armed in Florida. We're doing it in Nashville. We have it in Georgia. We're going to be doing it in Texas, not in AZ. But you want to hear the crazy part?
Sure.
Most riders don't even use armed. They use premium. Armed is what made us viral. I don't even worry about the armed. I can open every state without armed. ARM was supposed to be when we got the funding and we built the second app for the security. That's the truth of it. ARM was representing KB. ARM was representing KB as a PI in the state of Georgia. He has clients. He's been doing this for a long, long time. I represented the ARM. ARM was never really the hit factor for the app. No, the app was, he created from a human traffic victim He promised this lady he would do it, and he opened it. He wanted to have vetted drivers, those who are licensed. Da da da. That's all I kept saying. But people stuck to the arm, the gun. I'm like, all right, cool. So that's the truth behind the arm piece.
What's next, though?
Okay, now you going deep.
Yeah, I just want to know. We here.
But I'll tell you what's next. But before I get to the next, I just want to break something down. I want people to understand how hard this is. I want people to understand that the way I look at this ride sharing is it's deep. Does it involve the color of my skin? Yes. Does it involve mental? Yes. Does it involve your health? Yes. Does it involve a lot of money? Yes. When people watch these videos, they get excited. They'll hit me up in comments and, man, you're doing a great job. But what I want people to understand is, boy, this is hard. There are some days I don't want to do this no more. There are some days I literally say, God, take this away from me. Whatever this thorn is in my side, you need to remove it, or I'm going to break it and turn it into a toothbrush, because I don't want it. There are days I'll call my brother Boogie and I'm like, I don't want to do it no more. He's like, nope, you got to keep going, bro. There's some days I just sit there and just cry because, you know, some days we'll have tons of rides, and some days it just be dry, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, and then the fact that, you know, I've been applying everywhere, and then I found out that there was a company that spread my name in the security industry and told people not to hire me. That hurt me too, and I'm just like, the hell am I really going through? Like, you know, I just want people to understand, like, this is hard. This is running a business of any sort. It's hard, but in particular the ride sharing space, because I'm dealing with the tech and I'm dealing with security, because I've created a platform ultimately that everybody can get a piece of the pie. Security companies don't like me or those who've been in the industry for two reasons. You got guys who've been in the industry for 30-something years. Nobody knows about them. Everybody knows about who's this black kid that created BlackWolf. Everybody knows about BlackWolf. So they don't like that. Two, I'm taking their service, which they charge people X amount of money, and saying, you know, I'm going to give it to everybody. They're like, you can't do that. They don't like that. I've seen it on LinkedIn. I've even gotten comments where people said black men should not have security companies. And I'm just like,
are you kidding?
Man, please Google my name. You'll see all the negative comments and this and that and the racial slurs. And I've had people hit me up saying, oh, I'm in the CIA. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take you down. I'm like, that's funny, because I know a lot of people in the CIA. You know, because a lot of people don't know my background. A lot of people don't know what I've really done. They just think I created an app. Like, I've been doing this before the app.
You want to share some of what you've done?
I've done a lot.
We can put it in perspective.
I mean, in perspective, I've been around the wealthiest of the wealthiest. So I'm talking about royal families, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, right? The wealthiest of the wealthiest. I've been around Will Smith. I've been around like the Meek Mills. I've been around the Rick Ross, the T.I.s. I've done 3 tours by myself when I was young, and I was the youngest person to ever run a tour. I was 28 when I was running my first tour, like a tour, big tours. And I've had people look at me, hate on me. I've had people spread, you know, rumors about me. So it's like, I've done that. I've done extractions. I've been overseas. I've seen bodies laying on the floor, little girls, when we went to Nigeria with the Chibok girls, when they were extracted by the Boko Haram. You know, I've done things at an early age that I never thought I would experience, but I realized what God was doing. He had to really prepare my mind to go through hard, crazy things to handle this. Because it's like, I used to say, like, hold on now, if I can go overseas and not be scared of AKs and missiles flying at my head, but then I'm here in America and this rideshare app is kicking my behind. I'm like, how the hell does that work? Like, that don't make sense. Not at all. Like, I can do push-ups, but this thing, it's a heavy burden. It's a heavy burden. But if, you know, since this is my calling, I have no choice. I got to keep going. There are people looking up to me that I don't even know yet. So, you know, but I just want people to understand that, like, no, this ain't all glamorous. This is hard. This is real life.
What do you need at this point?
Honestly, the biggest thing is funding, right? Right now we're raising $2.4 million. We had the pitch deck. We got to have a lawyer, and I took 1.5 years to get all that in order. But we're finally there. So now it's really, once we get funding and once I pay for the new app, to me, the game will be over because that new app is going to be the same level as Uber and Lyft. There's going to be no difference. Then I can introduce the security side. Then I can introduce the marketplace. That's what's next. And we can get into that. But once that funding comes in and that app is upgraded to look just like Uber and Lyft, pretty much I can pretty much tell you Uber and Lyft will pretty much be dissolved by then because I'm not competing with Uber or Lyft. Let me just say that. So I respect them. They open the doors. I respect Uber and Lyft, but we're not in the same lane. I'm not competing against them because they're not like me and I'm not like them. But to answer another question, what's next? The marketplace. That's the big dog. I think that's going to be better than the BlackWolf app.
What's in the marketplace?
Put it like this. I'm not going to get too into details, but you ever heard of Angie's List?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm creating one that's called BlackWolf List. That's going to be to the point where it's all security needs plus more. So let's say you ever wanted to go to Egypt. You say, you know what? It's kind of getting rough over there. Let me go to the BlackWolf List. I need a guard for this amount of days. I need him to take me to the airport. Cool. You type it in the BlackWolf List. It pops up. You can go through 100 different companies, 100 different guards. I like him the best. I like him. You click on it. You pay it right there. There is no more getting a quote. There is no more somebody calling you, hey, what do you need? No, you see every single thing. You see his background. You see his whole life. Right. You hit that, boom, you have an instant bodyguard.
Worldwide is what we're talking.
Worldwide.
Okay.
And I'm started working on the patent and whatnot, but that's something that's coming next. And that's why I tell people, it's like, man, I'm in it to win it now.
Okay. So there's no stopping you.
Nah, I can only stop myself.
I thought you were gonna tap out.
Nah. I can't do that, man. I'd rather go and find and do something to make money while I'm struggling with this and to get it open. Because like I said, I truly believe if God give you something, He ain't gonna give it to you and you just fail. I don't believe God works like that, But He will put you through some stuff. He will chastise you. So I want people to understand, just because He give you a gift don't mean you can't go through the dirt. But I think it's just special that He chose me with something so big. And for people to respond the way they do, we get over 2 million followers and we're growing. And it amazes me for people to respond to how I look, how dark I am. I think I'm beautiful, but how dark I am. And for people to be like, oh man, right on. They see me with Trump. They see me with all these, politicians, and it blows their mind. They're like, how in the hell does this kid keep being around these people? So I keep surprising them, but it's still hard.
Wow. So you think race still plays a factor?
It's a big factor. We're talking about private security. We're talking about, high net worth individuals. Normally, when you think of security or a security company, it's normally ran by a white organization. Or if you think of, hey, I need a security guard, you're normally going to think of a white guy, right? You go to California, security, it's normally going to be a white guy come to your house. No, nothing against them, but that's just the industry standard. Like, it is what it is.
You could have built a faceless company.
Yeah, but God ain't tell me to do that. Nah, people. I need people to see this face. Yeah, you dig what I'm saying? No. No, I'm going to be the Michael Jordan of the security industry. Just the face of it. Not saying I'm the best. I tell myself I am, but that's just to keep encouraging me, right? But yeah, so that industry plays a race card. It does, and I've seen it. I'm always around it. I know it does. It's still heavy. It's still out there. So if somebody tell you that it doesn't, they're lying to you. They're lying. Now, if I tell you I'm a rapper and I have a bodyguard, what color comes to your mind?
It depends. I mean, it's going to be black. It's got to be black.
Big ass black dude. Because I said rapper.
Right.
Because most white folks who have those credentials, they don't like to deal with rappers because rappers are ignorant. A lot of us, we're getting out of the game of rappers because they put us in a lot of harm. They're ignorant. They don't like to pay. That's why I went and got the credentials that I got. That's why I'm always around certain people, so people can be like, oh, okay, he looks like that, but he deals with those people. I can trust him. Security is just a perception thing. That's all it is. It's just okay, you look good. All right, cool. Got it. So That's just like you going to Rome, Georgia, and you tell people, yeah, I work for the state trooper. I was a captain. They're like, I don't think so. You go up there in your uniform. Hey, how you doing? Yes, ma'am. It's a big difference because it's the perception. That's all this is. It's a perception. So we have to continue as black men in this industry to live by that perception, because we are judged. Especially with my hair like this, it's a difference. We are judged before we speak. Most black men who are bodyguards cannot translate over into the EP world. It's hard for them.
Executive protection.
It's hard for them.
Anybody doesn't know her.
It's hard for them because it's a different mindset. It's a different ball game. When you're doing bodyguard work, you're just a big ass, babysitter. Most of them, you don't even have to have credentials. You're just big. You're a big ass target too, but you're just big. You can't take the bodyguard of, there's a rapper named The Baby. You can't take his body. He can't switch over and do EP right now. He's like 6'9", and he weighs like maybe 400 pounds. He couldn't. He's too big. The hip hop world, they love him. I don't know if they respect him. I don't know if they pay him like that, but that's what I'm saying. Most black men, they want to go to the hip hop industry, want to do the tours, but when you're talking about Coca-Cola CEOs and this and that, no, they're all white men.
Do you feel like, I'm sure you feel like you've been targeted clearly just by what we've discussed so far.
Yeah.
Is it dying down some? Are you starting to see things change?
The more I keep going, it's going to keep enticing them. It's going to make them even more mad. But now I'm at a point where it's like, hell, I want to keep doing it. Now I'm having fun with it. This shit makes me laugh now. Yeah, for real. Like, you understand? Like, this one dude called me. He goes, dude, I respect you in your hustle. He goes, but I just want to know, like, what is your background? Like, how is it that I keep hearing about you? Like, who are you? This and that. And I said, man, when God has something for you, it's just gonna be out there. But you still gotta have something about yourself now. You can't just be out here like, I'm not an influencer. It's not what I am. I'm not a comedian. So mine is difficult because it's like, you're in the security industry, but you are on that influencer level because a lot of people know you. So they're kind of like, okay, this kid just wants to do it for the fame. Like, that's not what it is. So is it hard? Yeah, but understand something. We're in the world of technology. You have to use it. How else are you going to reach clients? You got these dudes who are still giving you these ugly ass brochures. It's like, no, bro, you cannot do that. You have to adapt with the time. So I just took advantage of it.
Right.
That's all I did. It's brought a lot of controversy, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I wish you a lot of success.
Well, I appreciate that.
I think this is the start of something. You're a year in.
Yeah.
A little over a year in.
Yeah.
And I expect it's going to grow from here. I might have to order me a armed ride before long.
Come on now. Come on with it.
I'm trying to roll out with somebody that could actually do something if something goes down. Because
you could teach them too.
So
from your background.
So, yeah. Anything else?
Well, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's I think the last thing I would say is, if anybody has a dream or a goal or whatnot, and they speak it, it's time to just go for it. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough. Ain't nothing going to be handed to you, even if it looks like that. And anything that comes too quick is a curse. That's one thing I had to realize. And when you do go after your dreams, you're going to come against a lot of people who's going to say they're going to help you. Then they're going to shit on you. Then they're going to talk about you. They're going to tell you your dreams will never make it because they don't see it, right? And everything I'm saying is because it has happened to me. People came on my team, and, oh, man, I help you. And then they burn me. Then they try to get in and realize, how am I doing this? And tell other people, hey, this is how he's doing it. There are other companies that actually started it trying to do the same thing as me. And I see it. And, like I said, I just sit back and I say, God, whatever you got for me, hey, you need to hurry up. You know what I mean? Come on now. Come on with it. But yeah, no matter what, stay focused, go after that purpose, and stay the course. It's gonna be hard, but stay the course. And every corporation, every great success story started with an idea. Mm-hmm. So take that idea, speak it, and let it open. Find the right team, stay with that team, focus on that team, and let that team help you build. Because you ain't gonna make it by yourself. I thought I could do it by myself because I'm Jamaican. Nah, it didn't happen. So that's it. And like I said, more to come. Hopefully next year, we'll have another interview, and it'll be on a beach or a yacht, on my backyard, and I'll have the Lamborghini right there, and we're gonna be talking, and I'll be eating some jerk chicken, looking at you like, you remember when we was talking the first time?
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
So those are that's for the future of the BlackWolf app, man. So that's where we're going. That's where
I can't wait to see that happen.
Me either.
And maybe we do need to come back. That would be great. We'll do it on the BlackWolf yacht.
Yeah.
Yacht party.
Yeah. Or if I have a facility, we'll do it in the facility, and I have all the nice things around us and whatnot, and I can, say, hey, Captain, go ahead and shoot this gun. I want to see how you used to do it back in the day. Show me, So yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, come on now, come with it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it.
All right now.